Well, the House now set to vote on the release of the Epstein files. It comes as the White House calls for greater transparency over the Democrats' ties to the late disgraced financier. Aishah Hasnie has been following all of the twists and turns, and there have been many. She's on Capitol Hill this morning. Hi, Aishah.
Hey, good morning to you, Dana. There is quite a scene building up outside the House steps. You can see behind me a couple of protesters out here calling for the release of the Epstein files, and they are waiting for this press conference to start with Thomas Massie, the Republican from Kentucky, and Ro Khanna, the progressive from California. Those two have been leading the charge to release the Epstein files. They'll be joined by those survivors of Jeffrey Epstein, of which you can see a couple of them standing there now. And we are expecting this vote to happen sometime this afternoon. Timing is still up in the air, but the bill needs a 2/3 vote here. And we are hearing that practically everybody in the House, the majority of Republicans, will actually vote for this today. We might see numbers upwards in the 400s. Here is Speaker Mike Johnson last night about that.
I think it'll be a large vote tally.
Do you believe that he should just release these files on his own?
He said he's for maximum transparency. He's telling the Congress to do it. I'm not sure what more he could do by way of transparency.
President Trump says he will sign this bill if it's passed by the House and Senate. It's a big reversal from where he was a couple of days ago. The White House and Republicans, though, claim that Democrats are twisting this investigation to target Trump. And they want to know why nobody is talking about the Democrats that are connected to Epstein, like Bill Clinton's former Treasury Secretary, Larry Summers, just announcing this week that he is stepping back from public life over ties to Epstein. Not to mention Congresswoman, the delegate Stacey Plaskett, who got caught texting Epstein during a hearing in which he was feeding her questions. And I got to ask the Democratic leader about this yesterday. Watch.
Stacey Plaskett just talking to a sex trafficker during a hearing.
I haven't had a conversation with Stacey Plaskett.
But does that trouble you?
I have not had a conversation with Stacey Plaskett. In fact, I think Stacey Plaskett has issued a statement as it relates to this, and her statement speaks for itself.
So he refers her to that statement, in that statement to CNN, Dana. She basically says, as a former prosecutor, she will welcome any information she can get to the truth. So this is amping up ahead of this big vote today, expected to pass in the House. Dana?
It's hard to imagine that's exactly what she was doing, but okay, that's her statement. Aishah, thank you.
So let's bring in our colleague, Bret Baier, anchor special report. Bret, good morning to you.
Good morning.
First, have a gander yesterday. Here's the president talking about Epstein being exclusively a Democratic problem. Here he is on that.
I'm for any, I don't, they can do whatever they want. We'll give them everything. Sure I would. Let the Senate look at it, let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much, because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax.
Okay, so let's see which way this goes. We do not know the fallout yet. I think we can say that. But based on Aishah's reporting there, the fallout is already beginning, Bret.
Yeah, I think so. By the way, I'm partial to the pink frog protester up there. I hadn't seen him before. But listen, I think that this is a big moment because it is a turnaround from where the president was and how he talked about it and what the instructions essentially were, how House Speaker Johnson was dealing with it. You're now going to see the floodgates open because a lot of people wanted to vote for this. And now that the president has opened that up, I think the vote is not in question at all, and they'll probably get a ton of votes. Now, where does it go? How long does it take? Do we see the documents? How much is out and how much is not out? And I don't think we have a sense of that from the DOJ. Remember, thousands and thousands of pages have been put out already. And what we're seeing so far, you're right, cuts both ways as far as embarrassment and also, even worse when it comes to the victims talking about that.
So we cover a lot of live events in D.C. That's one of the largest crowds I've seen for something like this. So I get it that there is a lot of interest in it. And when you say it cuts both ways, we showed you through Aishah's reporting about Congresswoman Plaskett's questioning of Cohen as she's texting with Epstein. But Derek Van Orden also spoke about this. Now, he's a Republican from Wisconsin. Watch here.
Epstein was convicted in 2009 of sex trafficking. Ms. Plaskett represents the Virgin Islands, where Epstein Island is. She was speaking to him a few months before he died in prison asking him what questions she should be asking witnesses that were going after President Trump. There's, in no universe can you say that that was a good thing to do.
What do you make of that part of it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, those text messages are pretty straightforward. He is in the process of watching the hearing saying good job about the question that he prompted her to ask Michael Cohen. It kind of happens real time in the way that the timestamp is. And I think that, you know, as I'm saying, it cuts both ways. There will be Democrats that are very affected by this and what comes out of all of these pages. I think the president feels and is expressing his confidence that he's not a part of this. And I guess what is, for Washington reporters, tough to get your head around is why it took this long to get to this statement about go ahead and vote for it. Yeah. And you know what was behind that effort up until yesterday.
Yeah, they could have done it under the past administration. They chose not to. Bret, there's a lot of folks dancing around the living body of Chuck Schumer at the moment, okay? They think he's pretty much destined for defeat. Well, I've seen a lot of people survive in Washington for a long time, all right? Here's the head of one of the progressive leaders, Adam Green's his name. He says the conversation started, the conversation legitimized, and the conversation's moving forward. And the last people to accept the point will be those closest to Chuck Schumer, including some of his fellow senators. How much attention is this getting in D.C.? I imagine a lot, but is this something that will come to pass? Can we say that now?
I think more betting is on Chuck Schumer leaving, or at least leaving the Senate Minority Leader position, maybe even not running again. I mean, that's the going line here in the Washington circles. But you're right, people have survived these things. I think that there was a lot of frustration about the handling of the continuing resolution and the shutdown and what was the benefit from that for Democrats. And that is still reverberating here in Washington. Chuck Schumer is, he's got a problem on the left. And the question is what the Democratic Party looks like as it heads to 26. They're going to have to figure that out. Right now, the passion and the power is on the left side of the party.
Got it. We'll see you tonight. Scott Besson is on with you. We'll watch that interview then. Thank you, Bret.
We'll see you.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.